Okay. Hello, my Johnny.
Hello, my Johnny.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. It's your main man. We're gonna work on that, you know.
Yeah.
It's your main man, Jon Bonner, Johnny Maximilian.
We're gonna work on that.
We're gonna work on it, bro. The thing about it is that my zipper isn't even zipped up.
That's my bad.
Nah, hey, you know.
It's my bad because I knew and I forgot.
Okay. Because the way you said that at first, I was like, you know what?
That could have been.
It's okay, baby. The thing about it is, we're working on this. We're working on this, and we don't know what we're doing. And that's what made me ready to start. Is because you said that there's something very important about not knowing what you're doing and just starting.
Yeah, it's an exciting phase you don't want to skip over.
No, it took. This is Hello, My Johnny, the podcast, and it took us at least 6 weeks of arguing about what the name should be. At first, it was going to be. It originally was the Sean Morris podcast with Jon Bonner. You know, you remember that?
Yeah,
when we did those, and I don't even know that a lot of those even came out. They're probably still around somewhere. But then I took a break from that, and I was like, okay, let's not do that. And then we did the Jon Bonner show, and we started for a second. We had the Jon Bonner show, the podcast, and we had 3 episodes of that. And then I just kind of ran out of gas with the whole idea of it, because I was trying to do this thing where I kind of string the podcast in between the shows, you know? And I think the problem with that was I was putting it in put myself in a position where I'm bound to okay, these are the days that I have these shows at the Copper Jackalope, you know? Mm-hmm. And so this is about the Jon Bonner show at the Copper Jackalope that I'm having, you know, because I was really only doing
promos.
Yeah, you know, and so it's when that was really all that I was doing, it didn't really make for a good podcast, because each podcast or episode that I was doing was oh, okay, now let's talk about the next show. Let's talk about the last show, you know, instead of talking about just life in general and what it's like being, you know, 2 people who live in a small town in rural Arizona, you know. And I think that's pretty much enough for a good podcast, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think that people who have city lives, and then you have country people like us, you know, who we're not bumpkins by any means, you know, but I would say that we definitely live at a much, much slower pace than the people who, you know, every day they got to get up and go and be in traffic or whatever. But then we were the Cottonwood Cool Kids Club, and that was my idea that was deeply voted down. It was voted down by you.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, you kind of embraced it a little bit.
I thought it would have been all right, but you were down for the shirts. Yeah, that
was the thing.
You know,
I was really doing it for shirts, and when people realize that I'm doing something for an ulterior motive, that's usually when the idea kind of goes away. Because I usually will make an idea oh, I'm doing this to do this, to do this to do this, instead of doing the thing in and of itself, you know.
But you were against having it all K's.
Yeah, I was.
KKKK.
KKKK, because I feel like that was gonna, it wasn't gonna help out.
I thought it would. I thought it would, because when now we get so popular, when people see the KKK, they go, "Oh, is that Cottonwood Cool Kids Club?" And then they'd be upset. They'd be like, "No, stop saying that. We were around first."
Yeah. And I think that at this point, it's if we went for them now, I think that we have a chance of winning, because I don't think they're as strong as they used to be. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I think that
the pendulum, you know, it's maybe they're stronger now than they were a little bit ago. But
maybe, but
totally not as strong as they were at one point.
But never as strong. They're never going to be as strong
as they once were.
Yeah. Yes, and that's the thing. It's when it becomes, because as a side note, sidebar, racism is a fact in our country.
Yeah.
And I think that and then we've taken some little segues.
It's a staple.
It's a staple of our country. It's who we are, really. And I think that the issue that we have is that we are not accepting that. You see what I'm saying? We gotta stop thinking that if I feel differently, that's gonna make you feel differently. You know what I'm saying? It's going to make the world a different, like we can act in a way that leads to a different understanding of different people groups or whatever. But it's much, much easier to understand that racism in and of itself is deeply based in ignorance and stupidity. You know what I'm saying? Like there's ignorance where it's like, oh, you don't know. And then there's stupidity where you did know, but you decided to think differently than that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hubris.
And so any kind of group, they stand a kind of a chance of like, oh, you know, if I push you, you might fall over because you're not thinking as well as I am. You see what I'm saying?
You know what's funny?
Because if they would have had 4Ks, they probably would have been around longer. The 3Ks held them back. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, what would the 4th K have been? I don't even know what the Ku Klux Klan means. Like, what is?
And I don't
Klux? What the fuck?
I don't want to know. But what I do know is if it was like,
is it English? It's in a different language. Like, is that a different?
Because that's not even how you spell Klan. I don't think you spell Klan with a C, don't you?
I've spelled Klan with a C.
Yeah.
But I was doing that in protest. I don't know.
What I'm trying to say is this. There are adult idiots, okay? I'm aware that there are children who don't know, right? Then they would get to a point where you're an adult.
Yeah.
And you can know, right? But then there's this door that opens where you say, let me see how far I can get by not knowing. And everybody kind of has to carry you.
Yeah.
You know, with your stupid stuff. There was a long time in my life where I didn't have a driver's license.
No, me too. I didn't get my shit until I was like 20.
Dude, yeah, I was way late in the game of getting my driver's license. I think I could drink before I got my driver's license. That's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
But because of that, I had to, when I was going out with people or doing stuff with people, I had to have a plan where I'm going to have a ride. You know, somebody has to carry me. Mm-hmm. And that's the way that racism works when people don't acknowledge it. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's just trying to carry that person. You know,
the racist?
Yeah, the racist. Because you always kind of go, oh, you know, Mima's a little different. You're trying to carry them in social situations, in this situation. And the thing about being a Jonny is that it's a celebration of the people who say, no, motherfucker, you don't have a license.
Yeah.
You need to have your own car or you're not going to ride with me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's how we kind of got to, instead of being the Cottonwood Cool Kids Club, to being Hello, My Jonny.
Well, I think Johnny Fest, too, really drove in
that we
what's your Jonny? Mm-hmm. Like, that really... Because, like, Johnny Fest 1 was funny. Everyone had the name tags, but it was just because of the bizarro thing of, like, what is this Johnny Fest? You know, like, it's, you know, his face is fucking everywhere. And there's, like, other bands. But in Johnny Fest 2, it made more cohesive sense to be, like, the Jonny is, like, your true...
Yeah, that's who we really are.
Your true identity,
yes.
You know?
And I try to, make it where it's not so much... about me, but more so like what has happened to me over time from living here, which is that I've become more myself. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, like, especially the city aspects of you, like coming from LA, are more prominent here because they're juxtaposed. Like you're the person who comes from LA, so like those parts. Because I'm not even like from New York, but I was born in New York. You know, and I lived there. I moved to Arizona when I was 4 or 5. But in me, I feel like a New Yorker, and I always will, because being raised by my mom and dad, they were just their mindset and the way they talk, and I just am naturally gravitate towards that New Yorker kind of mindset. Mm-hmm. But being here makes me feel more like that because I'm so, you know, when I see other New Yorkers here, I'm like, we get along, even though I lived there for 4 years. Like most of my time in New York has been since I've been living in Arizona.
I lived in Los Angeles from when I was like 19 to roughly on and off. Like, you know, I'd move back home, move over here, move there, whatever. But like my main like place of going, like living in Los Angeles, I did that a lot in my 20s. Probably like to 26, 27, somewhere in there. And then I like lived in Riverside and then I lived here, you know? Yeah. But I feel like the issue for me as a person It's more so that I spent so much time with my friends and in my friend group, you know, and I never went anywhere like by myself, really, like literally, you know what I'm saying? Like anytime I went somewhere, almost, unless I was going to work, it's me and somebody else or me and some other group of people. And that was just the way that I moved as a person. But it wasn't until I lived here that it was like I have to do things by myself and choose and create a life for myself, you know, and decide what the life is going to look like, you know. And I think that that was a major part of it. I think that like sitting down and knowing that like, okay, my life moving forward, should I decide to live here and get married and whatever, it's gonna be what I make it, and it's gonna be my friend groups are gonna be the people that I choose these people to be in my life, and I choose what my life is gonna look like. You know, I lived here for like probably a year and a half or so before I quit drinking and shit, and that's really when I started making like my friend group. That's when I really kind of became the Jonny that like is the Jonny of Jonny Fest and all the other stuff, is because now there was no kind of like, because at first the Copper Jackalope was like my hub of like, oh, this is where I go and I meet people and I know anybody, you know. But when I stopped drinking, it was like, okay, I'm not gonna really go there as much, and I started to realize that it was like, okay, a lot of the people that I thought that I liked, actually I didn't really like them. You know, they were there when I was drinking and they were maybe funny or whatever, but in reality, these weren't people who were genuinely like going after their shit in life. You know what I'm saying? And not to put them down or whatever, because I think that it's a lot of, so, you know, just surviving is a big part of just living. You know, I understand that. But I am saying that like, the thing that I had about my friends in California and the friends that you know I've made is that they're all creative, very driven people. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't take that lightly, and I never try to be the catalyst in some, like I appreciate being a catalyst in somebody's life, like, oh yeah, man, you can do it, you can try, you can start this, whatever. I kind of at this point in my life want to be around people who are already kind of doing their stuff and join well with me in that. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who have kind of found their niche, or maybe they're just right about to. You know what I'm saying? But like, outside of that, I can't really fucking. I can't really hang out with people who are like too many project people, because me myself, I'm in a different place in my personal project.
Yeah, and if you're not anchored, you know, then you literally can't help.
Exactly.
Who's a project.
Exactly. Yeah. And so then so that's where I feel like I found not just myself, but like the other people found themselves in that same place in their life, you know, and then Sean kind of fostered the presenting the gifts of the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
and the community aspect. All
exactly.
Those people that you have a hard time like connecting to. Sean's there to like to,
and he brings everything together.
Brings them in. Yes, you know, exactly. He's able to make people feel included and loved. Like that's the thing about Sean is like, you know, you could just sit down and he'll give you a beer and you feel like loved.
Yeah, and it feels like medicine. Sean Morris, like, the greatest bartender
in the history of the world.
Yeah,
I think it has a little bit to do with. I mean, well, maybe it's actually the other way around, because it's Sean that's presenting this, but the aesthetic of Copper itself is like a place where it's not conducive to getting super fucked up.
No.
You know, and when I say not conducive to it, I don't just...
You have to be, that has to be what you want. That has to be what you're going for, because it's just not really...
But I don't... No there's no liquor, but it's also like, I don't just mean that it's impossible to do that at Copper because, like, they're not having that shit, but it's like, if you start getting too fucked up at Copper... someone around is
going to ask you if
it's
going
to be like, are you okay?
Yeah,
and what can we do? And give you water, take you home.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you get super fucked up at any other place in town, it's like you get bounced.
Yeah,
you know, you call somebody. But like Sean will be like, oh, the other day there was a guy who did this thing, and it sounds like some shit that happens every day at like main stage of the Crow. You know, but at Copper, it's like a family event.
Period.
It's like, oh, someone did this. You know,
Copper Jackalope is the living room of Cottonwood.
Yeah.
It's literally, if you're a chill and you're down to kick it, you go to the Copper Jackalope. Like there's different, you know, motives at different places, and I don't want to, you know, downplay those places or say anything negative about them.
No, I say negative about the Crow, and I mean those places make me feel bad when I'm near them. You know, like Although the Crow's got some fire ass avocado toast.
Yeah, the Crow has fire
jalapeno.
food, and it's a. I go there to like I don't even go there. Like I order DoorDash from there. Like like later on tonight, it's gonna be a point where I'm gonna say, "Damn it, I gotta get a pulled pork sandwich because I don't have food in my house."
Yeah, dude, pulled pork.
The Crow will save your life on a good night.
I'm stuck with Taco Bell now. I don't eat meat. Like for those life saving moments, I gotta go to Taco Bell.
How long is Taco Bell open?
2 a.m.
Oh, okay.
And there's this new guy that works at Taco Bell in Cottonwood. I don't know his name, but he's a bigger gentleman. Guy is the most absurdly good drive-through person I've ever. Like, he's too good at his damn job. Like, you pull up and he's like, "How are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "I'm doing good." He's like, "All right, we got this going on. We got that going on. What can I get?" It feels like you're like a waiter. Mm-hmm. I'm like, "Why are you talking to me like?" And I order food. They pull up with waiter. "Here you go, man. Have an excellent." I was like, "What's happening?" And I was like, "Oh, this guy's on some shit. He needs a promotion or whatever." But I went back like 3 weeks later. It was the same guy, same treatment.
I think the thing about it, because like Cottonwood is I mean the Copper Jackalope is the living room of Cottonwood.
Sorry, I took a side.
No. But I think that the reason that is because there are people in this town that kind of reach a place of comfort in themselves, and it allows them to provide a deeper level of hospitality than most people are comfortable with even accessing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Some people are not comfortable with even receiving that level of hospitality.
I think, but I think that like for me specifically, like I don't, like it's not that I don't care. Like I have to wake up and I have to try to care. It's like I struggle with apathy, but I struggle with apathy because I am so satisfied as a person. You see what I'm saying? It's not that it's not so much that I have what I want, but it's that I want what I have. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so because of that, I'm comfortable when I go out and I see other people or whatever, and I'm super like chill with being, sociable with them in terms of like trying to hear people out and do like, and also I work in the service industry. I'm very similar to when I'm working, but because I don't feel like it's other people's responsibility. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that we're having a good exchange. I try to put enough of myself into it to where you can get whatever you want to get out of it. I think that we've really bounced around a lot all over the place, and I think that that's great because when you bounce around all over the place, you get to learn what works and what doesn't. Yeah. And this is the first episode of Hello My Johnny, and the bouncing around is what got us to Hello My Johnny as a title. Anyways,
yeah.
So we had true. Johnny Fest. We had this big thing, and we decided that Hello My Johnny was the best way, to call this a podcast, or to call this this is a thing for us to just sit down and just, to just talk to each other and have a good time. It's not gonna. I mean, I don't know what the where these conversations are gonna go. I just know that it's important for us to document hanging out with each other and talking about living in a small town and just getting whatever we need to get off our chest. I think
you know what one thing about living in this town, I'm miserable right now in this town, and it's a small period in my life. It's a phase, because in a general deep sense, I like this place is beautiful and it's my home. Right now I'm in the miserable period, and the thing is, if you don't have a car, this town fucking blows.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I can't do anything. Like I have 3 spots, and how people talk about the third place and how in society you don't got a third place, you work, home, and then where else, because people don't go to church. But like I don't even have 3 places. I have 3 spots, because it's my house, I go work, house, and then but in the house, I spend so much time in the house because I don't work full time and I'm doing shows. So it's like I'm at Copper. I guess I have Copper, because I find a way to get there with the band. Yeah. But I'm bumming rides everywhere. And then the long days where I'm alone, it would be like, okay, I want to work on this. I'll go to the river and work on it, writing or, mixing. I'll bring my iPad around places. I can't do that anymore. So it's like, okay, do I want to do this song on the stump outside, and then the other song on the rock outside my house, and then I'll finish up on the porch. And that's
really
like a full
funny.
day for me. I traveled that day. I spent some hours on the stump. I spent a few hours on the rock. I'd just be looking at the same cactus.
But you're pretty creative. You
Yeah.
got some like I went through a period where like I had just got the laptop and shit, and we weren't like in the beginning, the first beginning of the year, I had to cancel 2 Jon Bonner shows like in succession. It was like,
Yeah,
get ready
that
for
was-
one, cancel it. Get ready for the second one, have everything together, cancel it. But the day that was happening, my laptop, I had ordered a laptop and the laptop arrived, and I was able to like set up all my stuff or whatever. And I said that to say that I am very much, I was just in the same pretty well, not like I don't have a car,
Yeah.
but that like when you're just at home, just doing stuff, because a lot of the times, like me and Rebecca, we have opposite schedules, and so like she'll be at work and then I'll be at home, then I'll be at
that
work and she'll
sucks.
be at home. But what you do is you have to learn how to balance, your shit out. You balance your life out, and I spent the free time that I had the first month of having the laptop. I spent it working on an audiobook. Like it's sitting down and going, oh, okay, I wrote this book a few years ago, and I never recorded it. I never recorded my voice over it and like, shared it. I don't even know, to be honest, that it's even a good book. But the thing about it is, I know that at that time, I had tried as hard as I could, and I just kind of was slowly going crazy. And so I wasn't able to really package everything or show it. And on some levels, I guess I kind of feel bad about that. And so I wanted to at least just record it and put it out there, because I think that it's important to acknowledge kind of the dark places in your life, especially when you're in a more comfortable place, because I think that it keeps you from being in a position where you judge other people, and you're kind of like, oh, why don't you get it? Because I remember very well when I didn't have any of this stuff and I didn't have Cottonwood, and I have to be open with the stuff that makes me Jonny, but I recorded those and then I sent them to you, and then you play piano over them. And these first few episodes of Hello My Jonny, we're just going to end them with playing the audiobook so that you can listen to it. And yeah, I don't know, because I don't really know what I'm doing in terms of what I was planning on talking about outside of this is Hello My Jonny, and we're gonna be the people who are like hosting it for the next few episodes at least. I don't really know how to end it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say
Peace.
Yeah. All right, and then after that, so then the audiobook is gonna play. So I don't know. I'm gonna put something to tell you if you're looking at this, so that you're not looking at nothing.
Yeah, so it looks like we're kind of wrapping up right now. There's like silence,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like we'll play it, and then we can just like hold on. That's the end of this part though.
Okay.
Bye. Yeah. Chapter 1. Desperate Times. I didn't go out looking for this job. It came to me. Years ago, I made music with a close friend of mine named Terrence. We lived in a big house with a bunch of other bandmates in the valley. T would work all night, come home in the morning, and throw money everywhere. I mean, all over his room. He would even sleep on it. That's because T worked at strip clubs as the DJ. Chances are, if you've been to a strip club in LA, he's worked there, especially the ones in the valley. Terrence would play our songs in the club, and one of our songs, Wild, actually had its own night. They called it Wild Wednesday, and I felt like the man by proxy. It always seemed like a fantasy, one that I didn't really particularly think I wanted to be a part of. At that time, I hadn't even really held down a regular job. Later down the line, I moved into an apartment in Silver Lake with some other friends. Around this time, I got really desperate for a job, and there were 2 jobs that I was in the middle of trying to consider. One of them was a dishwasher position in Hollywood that offered a full-time schedule plus overtime. The other was a pizza place that was just a mile away. The dishwasher job was perfect except for the fact that it was in Hollywood and I lived in Silver Lake, so I passed on it. Just before this, I had lost my car and resorted to using my bike as my main transportation. With the pizza place being a short 1-mile bike ride away, it took priority. My interview was at the main pizzeria downtown. I had to ride my bike in the middle of summer, but I was optimistic that I would get the job. Halfway there, my bike seized up and broke down. So when I got to the pizzeria, I was quickly given a demonstration on how to hand toss a pizza. I was then informed that I had to prove to the Spanish chef that I could do it. I couldn't, and he asked me to leave, in English, just like that. I carried my broken bike down to the train, locked it up, and then I walked home. One of my roommates gave me a ride back to the train station to retrieve the bike. Even before we got there, I knew it would be gone. And it was. I went from 2 hopeful leads to absolutely nothing. My spirit was starting to crack. I sat back, smoked the last few nuggets of my weed, and called T to set me up an interview at the strip club. There I was, sitting behind the desk, filling out my application. I handed it to the doorman, this crusty old black guy, and he walkied the manager. After a second or 2, the doorman approached me. He told me we already got a DJ, and we don't need another one, but he'll keep you on file. This threw me back. That's not what Terrence told me. Why would he have had me come all the way down here for nothing? I was starting to get angry, like in my soul. I thought this was gonna be easy, in and out, see you tomorrow type of thing. Obviously, it wasn't my week. You know Terrence? Terrence is my boy, the crustacean said. Hold on, let me get the manager out here. He got back on the walkie and told the manager he needed to come out. Within seconds, a large, lightly bearded white guy came out and introduced himself to me. "Sup, dude? I'm Jack," the manager said while reaching for my application. "You DJ anywhere else?" "No, but Terrence said that he would..." "Don't worry about that, bro. You ready for your interview?" He jumped in. "Yeah, sure," I quickly responded, thinking this was all turning around pretty smoothly. "All right. What are the 3 branches of the government?" he asked. "Executive, judicial, and legislative?" I answered, confused. "What's 20% of 130? He shot back. 26. I answered as quickly as I could, not really sure where he was going with this. "What are the 2 major political parties of the United States?" This guy was weirding me out. I didn't see what that really had to do with anything. Democrat and a Republican? I answered. This whole thing was starting to seem stupid to me. "That's correct. The owner makes me ask everyone that," he responded with a smirk. "But like I said, we already got all the DJs we need at the time. There's always shifts opening up, so we'll keep you on file, my man." He reached his hand out and shook mine. "Have a nice day." "You too." I put on my fakest smile and walked out to the parking lot. I stood there, looking at the street sign, which looked terrible in the daylight. I started pacing, which I always do when I'm frustrated. I soon realized that my only options were either to head home or get this worked out somehow. I called Terrence and did the third option. Cussed his ass out. Halfway through my second motherfucker, he cut me off. Whoa. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that happened, man. I'm sorry, he said. I'm down the street, on my way over right now. Don't get back on the bus. Just wait for me. I'll talk to them. T was on the mission. As I stood there waiting for him, the doorman walked up to me and asked me why I was still there. Terrence is on his way, I said. He instantly got excited, as if it was the first exciting thing to happen all day. He leaned in. Listen, I'll be honest with you. That other DJ in there is garbage. He's all strung out on meth or something, playing shit that pisses the girls off. I think you would be a great replacement. Don't even trip, little homie. If Terrence wants you here, I want you here too. A few minutes later, T showed up and went inside. I don't know what he said when he went into the club, but when he came out, he looked pretty worked up. That DJ is garbage and you know it. Just give Jon the job, man. He's cool for real. You could use another DJ, and that fool shifts, just take his shifts and give them to Jon. T was laying down his own version of the law, and I guess it seemed to be working. I'll see what I can do. I'll be in touch, Jon, the manager said as T headed to the car, which I took as my cue to bounce as well. Terrence told me we're headed to the store to get some dinner. I know it didn't seem like it, bro, but I'm pretty sure you just got that job, he added. We'll see. Well, thanks anyway for what it's worth. I was getting myself ready to go back to my dimly lit drawing board. And I know for me, disappointments tend to come in threes. So I figured, oh well. Don't be like that, Jon. I have a plan, T said. They stream music at the club from my Spotify account. I can control it remotely. Terrence looked at me with a twisted smile and showed me his phone. It displayed the current song which was playing in the club. If I change the song on my phone, it changes in the club. As we walked through the grocery store that day, T would wait for a song to load up, then change it to something else. When that whack DJ changes the song, I know a girl is on her way to the stage. If I change the song right when it's going, he's screwed because it messes up the girl's stage dance. T's eyes lit up. Trust me, you're gonna get this job. Sure enough, by the time we were in line for the checkout, I was on the phone with the manager. Terrence is right about this guy, so we're gonna have you replace him. Can you come in tomorrow? He asked. Of course, thank you so much. I hung up and looked at T. Thanks, man. I told you, he said with a smile. On the way back, I said, we gotta do a whole project about us working at the club, man. It will be dope as hell if we did that. Totally. We can jam after the club on nights we both work. It'll be sick. T was picking up what I was putting down. Yeah, man, both of us in there together, it's gonna be sick. They better look out, I said, excited about what lay ahead of us. That's what we should call it, actually. Sometimes, when I have an idea, I don't even realize I haven't explained it. What should we call it? T asked, noticing the lapse. Let's call it Pray for the Club. End of chapter 1.